We've got a lot done in the last few weeks, but we still got a lot more to do. There's but one way to get it done. Let's get busy. If you recall, last week I made me a gas tank, but I ain't really happy with it. I'm gonna have to modify it a little bit. What I'm probably gonna do, I'm gonna whack 6 inches off the width of it there. I just don't like it up against the seat like this. That'll put us back, approximately right there. According to the math, it'll still be an 18-gallon tank, which I don't understand, but I ain't gonna worry about it. I'm gonna cut 6 inches off of it, but we got a mess right here. Gotta clean it up first. Remember last week we had the whole thing running? Well, I just had a slip yoke stuck in the end of the transmission. Well, apparently it come out and, well, we leaked a bunch of oil. Got to get that cleaned up. Then I'll get the gas tank out and we'll get to cutting on it. Got my Exxon Valdez oil spill cleaned up. Best I could anyway. I done got my tank marked. That's 6 inches right there. Let me get my angle iron set up here as a guide. We'll go to cutting this tank up. Let's get the cutting, man. Oh yeah. Oops, I need my ground. Oh yeah! Now, I gotta cut this weld out on the end and it should just fall off. So let me see if I can do that. All right. Oh yeah. Ta-da! Now I gotta whack these off and then do my little triangle cut there in the corner. Let me do that real quick like. Now, if I can cut this triangle without cutting the bottom of this tank, I'll be doing pretty good. Or is this the top? Nope, that's right. I gotta put them right here. Oh crap. Cut a hole in the top. I knew I'd do it. Well, I got it cut down to size. Don't be looking at my little triangle pieces here. They look pretty rough. Blew a hole in the bottom of it too. I have to fill that in. Got lots of slag I got to get out and off. And plus this brown residue. We got to get it off. Let me get her cleaned up, and then I'll get this side piece cut and we'll get it welded on. Got it cleaned up. I took my fillet and scraped every square inch of this inside of this tank here. Got all that slag and brown stuff off, wiped it off with a rag. I'll blow it out right before we weld this end piece up. Right now, I gotta clear this table off, get that piece of metal over here and cut me a piece for this side right here. All right, let's check it for leaks. I'm gonna make a prediction. From this area over, there's gonna be lots and lots of leaks. Sure is. Listen for the pop. Bang, bang, bang. Woohoo! Son of a gun. I tell you what. Whew. I see one already, two. Well, it ain't as bad as I thought it'd be. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got one there in the corner, it's 5. 6. 50th time is a charm, maybe? I don't know. Well, it appears that I think I finally got them all. Let me go around it again, just to make sure. By George, I think we've got it. 6 years later, she's leak free. Oh yeah. Now we got to cut us a hole for our sending unit. I was going to put it in the middle, but then got to thinking, well, let's just scoot it over. Give her arm plenty of room. This is a universal, and it'll do several different depths of tank. According to the directions on the back, I got a measure from the pivot point right here, 4 inches out, and that's where this end of the float goes. So I'm gonna scoot this over right here and give us plenty of room for that float. Let me mark this, then I'm gonna cut it out with the plasma cutter, and then we'll adjust this arm. I changed my mind. I'm gonna use a hole saw instead. If I use a plasma cutter, we'll get brown stuff and a bunch of slag all in there. Can't get it out, so we'll use this. Well, all we'll have to do is vacuum out the metal shavings. Yeah, we lost our piece down in there. Let me go get a magnet. I found it. Now let me see if I can vacuum some of that stuff out. Read these here instrucciones one more time. We got to measure from the pivot point out 4 inches. That's about right there. Now we got to push this on down. Well, it won't go. What the devil? Huh. Alright, there it goes finally. Where'd my mark go? I lost it. Sure did. I gotta go 5/16 past my mark. Yeah, that's it right there. Now I got to slide this little feller on down here. I guess that's it. Let me cut this off real quick. Now what I want to do is measure the ohms on this. Let's just see how accurate it is. Completely full, we're at 34, 35, somewhere in there. It's a little bit off. And then completely empty, we are at 243. That's close enough. Yep. Now what I gotta do, get this little gasket right here. I gotta mark my holes and drill them, and I'm pretty sure, well, I don't know, I may have to run a tap. Yeah, these are not self-tappers, so let me see what size they are. I gotta drill these holes and tap them. And then we can put this little fella in there. It takes number 21, which I think was 159 thousandths drill bit. I reckon we'll have to vacuum that out again. Y'all remember that tap and die set I bought the other day? Well, this is it, and watch this. It won't tighten up. I bet you money she's made in China. Yep. Bet you money. I'm gonna throw that right over yonder. Let me get a good something or another. All right, now that I have disposed of that piece of junk properly, let me finish tapping these holes real quick like. There's one. We'll drill her right there in place. Sending unit is in. And I just noticed that right there. It says Sparta, Tennessee. I'm supporting a Tennessee business made in the USA. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I think what I'm gonna do next, we gotta put it in the car, and I gotta figure out my filler neck, how I'm gonna do it. But first, I gotta make this hole back where it used to be. I hope I don't knock a bunch of paint off. Maybe it won't. Let me get in here and see what I gotta do to get that hole back. Gas tank is in the car. That's where it's gonna go. I done checked. I can move my seat all the way back. Almost. It's good enough. It'll do just fine and dandling. And let me show you all this right here. This is where we got to come out with our filler neck. They put this little round patch on there. I don't know if that's welded on or what, but it's looked like they did some cave and pave right here. I got to thinking though, I got a grommet coming for the fill neck. It's not the factory one, and I'm not sure what size hole that it fits. So we're gonna wait on this till I get that grommet. That way I can measure it, and then we'll cut the proper hole out. I think what we're gonna do right now, my shop is a little messy. I'm gonna do a tool reset, clean up a little bit, and I think we'll pull the top off this carburetor that was giving us trouble and see if we can't figure out what's going on with it. Well, MLS has visited us today. You're looking at the end of the power steering pump shaft. It's the input shaft, and fluid is leaking out the end of the shaft, not around the seal, but around the end of the shaft. Now, I don't understand that. Gonna have to do a little study and see if maybe there's supposed to be a seal there. I ain't got a clue. No, sir. Let me clean this mess up, and then we'll do something. I don't know. No, sir. I don't have a clue why that's leaking out the end of the shaft. That's weird. I'll study on it tonight, though, and see what I can figure out. You might be wondering, why did it all of a sudden start leaking right now? Well, we didn't put any fluid in it the other day when we ran it. No, sir. Completely forgot to fill that up and check the steering, make sure it works. Yep. I was over here fooling with a carburetor device, and then squirrel. And I thought, hey, let me fill that up and just see what happens. Well, I see what happens. Leaking like a sieve. Like I said, I'll study on that tonight. This here, I've been looking at it for 30 minutes, and I ain't got a clue. Everything looks fine. This ain't hitting nothing. It's set like it should be. The only thing I know to do is hook me a gauge up to this hose right here and fire it up, make it run, and see what kind of pressure that pump is putting out. But what's odd is it doesn't affect these two right here. Maybe this middle one just won't seal. I don't know. I mean, it's a brand new needle and seat, though. It don't make any sense. What I need to do is rig me up a hand pump of some kind hooked to here with a gauge on it, and see if it's, see if the any carb I rebuild will hold, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 PS of ice. Yeah, I'll have to study on that tonight. I think we're gonna call it a day. My secretary, she's took off again. I'm gonna have to fire her. I got to do some running around town before stuff closes. So we will pick this up tomorrow, and hopefully we can figure out some of this MLS stuff. See y'all tomorrow. Tis the next day. I've done pretty much nothing all day, except for piddle a little bit. It's late afternoon. I ain't done nothing but build this little contraption here. Well, I'll run around town a little bit. Secretary, she took off again today. I'm gonna fire her. Anyway, build this contraption right here. You might be wondering, well, what in the devil is that? Remember last night how I said I wanted to be able to test carburetors, test the float and the needle and all that, and make sure they're going to hold. Well, here it is right here. That's a 2-inch piece of pipe, of course, 2 caps. The holes were already in it because I used this experimenting on the Fiery Dragon many moons ago. We won't get into all that. But all I had to do was drill this hole out a little bit bigger for this valve stem. Of course, I got me a gauge right up here, 10 PSI gauge. They got me fitting down here for this line. And that's going to plug into the carburetor device. You might be asking, well, why you got a valve stem in there? Well, we're going to use this bicycle pump to put pressure on this, and then it'll put pressure on the needle valve, and we'll see if it's going to hold, or I don't know. We're just going to experiment. Y'all know I like to experiment. Let's get this hooked up on the car, and we'll do a little experimenting. All right, I got it set up. It's plugged into the carburetor there. Here it is hanging off the fender. Let me hook my pump up. This does not have any kind of check valve in it. So when I quit pumping, all the pressure leaks out. So what I have to do, pump it up, and as I'm going down, pull this off and the pressure will stay. So let us see if we can do that without catching stuff on fire or something like that. I gotta fill that bowl up. Let me give her a little pressure. There's 4 PSIs right there. It ought to be filled up by now, so what I'm gonna do a big old shot. We'll go up to, there's 10 right there. All right, it's dropping down now. I can't see in there. Let me get my flashlight. We'll look at that. Yes, sir, it is pouring out. So let me relieve some pressure. Well, actually, let it leak down. Let's just see if it stops. We're at 5 PSIs right now. It's still pouring out. We're at 4 PSIs. It's still pouring out. Let me peck on it, see if it stops. No, sir. Still pouring out. Still at 4. It slowed down some, but not much. I don't understand it. Well, this has stopped at 4. But it's still running out, so You ain't got a clue. Nope. I don't think it's fuel pump. I don't think it's too much pressure. If it's doing that at 4 PSIs, then there's something wrong with this carburetor, and I don't know what it is. Nope. You ain't got a clue. That's about 9.5, and it's holding now. But it didn't when we first filled it up. It just poured out. I don't understand it. Sure don't. There's something about this carburetor that's not right. Or the needle and seat. I mean, it's a brand new needle and seat though. It don't make any sense. Let me take this off. Look at it some more. I just wanted to show y'all. I pumped it up a little more. We're at about 10.5 PSIs. And there's absolutely nothing running out now. But it was pouring when we first put pressure on it. So for whatever reason, it don't want to seal at first. I don't know. Let me take it back apart. I don't think I'm going to find anything, but I got to do something. Took the top off and looked at it, and well, it looked the exact same as it did last time. I didn't see nothing wrong. Decided to put it back on. We'll pump her up again. It did the exact same thing. Yes, sir. Sure did. Took it back off, and here's what I'm going to do. This is the manifold and the carburetor that we had on the motor when we broke the cam in, and it sat there and run great on the run stand. What I'm going to do, because I like to experiment, I like to know what the issue is. What I'm going to do is we're going to swap just the float. This is the top off of the one on the car. We're going to swap just the float. I'm going to put it on there, pump it up. If it does the same thing, overflows, well, I'm going to swap the floats back, put this one back over here. We're going to swap needle and seat. And if it still overflows, then I ain't got a clue. We'll put this carburetor on there. I'll have to change the base plate because the linkage and stuff here is different. Let me get these swapped to get it on the car, and we'll see what it does. Put it on, pumped it up to about 6 PSIs. You see down in there, she's just a dripping. Yep, sure is. Let me pull it top back off, and I'm gonna swap the needle and seat. Let's see what happens. I swapped the float back. I changed just the needle and seat. There's the new one that was in here. The needle and seat from here is now in here. I even used the same washer that was on this one here. Let's put it on, see what it does. Got it back on. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna attempt to do this one-handed. I'm gonna try to maintain about 4 to 6 PSIs, and then we'll see what happens. Oh, I see it. Yeah, it's running out to overflow. So that didn't work either. I ain't got a clue, fellas. Not a clue. Here's the deal. I took the top off that carburetor, put it on right here. And for the last 5 minutes or so, we've been sitting on 9-ish pounds. It's leaking down really slow, so I got me a leak in my test equipment somewhere. But y'all look right here. You see any fuel dripping? No, sir, you sure do not. There's something wrong with the top that used to be on this one right here. It's over on the table. Here's what I'm gonna do. I gotta take this back off because we don't have any accelerator pump now. It won't pump nothing. I'm gonna change the cup on it, and I need to clean this top up because it's a little dirty. And after we do that, we're gonna test that top over there because I'd like to know where it's leaking. I've looked the thing over. I don't see no cracks anywhere. And well, y'all know me. I like to be experimental. So we're gonna find out where this one's leaking, and then we're probably gonna throw it away. The temperature outside has dropped 30 degrees. No joke. It went from t-shirt weather to literally freezing in about 2 hours. Yep. I had to go get some diesel. It got cold in here. I did manage to get this cleaned, get it back on, and it took about 16 years to get the choke and accelerator pump levers and rods to play nice together. I finally got it though. Then I had to take it back apart because I forgot to put this gasket in there. Yep, sure did. It's back together. I ain't running it tonight because like I said, it's cold outside. I'm not opening the door. Sure ain't. What we're gonna do is we're fixing to test this little fella right here. See what's wrong with it. What I'm gonna do is hook this line here. I'm gonna hold down on that needle valve, and we're gonna put pressure on it, and we should see some gasoline squirt somewhere, I hope. Anyway, let me get it set up. All right, I got her set up. Fixing to put some pressure to it. Let me hold this down. Let's see what happens. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I don't see nothing. Nothing at all is leaking. I don't understand it. I ain't got a clue what's going on. There's 10 pounds right there. I ain't got a clue. Nope. All right, let me leave my finger off of it. See what kind of pressure it can handle. There's 5, 6, 7, 8. Somebody explain it to me, because I don't get it. Well, I kept fooling with it, and by George, I think I figured out what's wrong with it. As you can see, we're on 0 psi, so there's no pressure on the system. Watch this when I set it down. Just gravity is coming through. Let me get this situated and cleaned up and everything, and then I'll show you what's wrong with it. All right, you see how the float is parallel with this surface right here? All right, well, let's flip it over, and you see how the float hangs. Let me flip her back over. And it takes a few times to get it to do it sometimes. Let me keep doing it. I'll be back in a minute when it does it. All right, see it right there? It's not parallel anymore. What's going on is there's a little, well, let me take it apart and I'll just show you. All right, I got it apart. There's your float. Here's your needle. See that little wire hook thingamabob on the end of that? Well, it goes in this float. Let me turn this around some kind of way, just like that right there. It goes in this hole, just like that right there. It hangs on the float like that. This little piece of wire sometimes would get cocked, and that's what was holding that float up. Well, it'd be down actually. And that in itself ain't bad. That ain't gonna make it leak. What was making it leak is this piece of wire was getting in there cockeyed and resting on top of the seat, and that's what was holding it open. So I do believe that was the issue. Here's the bad thing though. All three of these carbs, they have that little wire. Yes, sir. Why they're not doing the same thing, I don't know. Why this top has anything to do with it, I don't know. One of life's mysteries. We'll run it maybe tomorrow, depending on the weather. If not, we'll run it the next day. Hopefully, fingers crossed, let me cross them real good, that we got that issue solved. I'm gonna piddle just a little bit longer on it, but it's about time to call it a day. This, what we did today, troubleshooting, I absolutely love it. That's why I went to maintenance where I used to work. I love troubleshooting, but it is extremely time consuming, and I can't do that very much now because I'm always working against the clock trying to get y'all a video out. But yes, sir, I love doing troubleshooting. Anyway, I'm gonna piddle. I'll see y'all tomorrow. 'Tis the mail call time. I got a bunch of stuff in the mail over the last couple of weeks, so let's run through it and see what all I got. This is Eastwood's brake line flaring tool, a fancy one and probably an expensive one. Y'all don't need to be spending a bunch of money on me. No, sir, you sure don't. I'll have to figure out how to work this because I've never used one. I've seen some of them on YouTube use them. We'll have to figure out how to work that. This is from Jason. I don't know if it's Neil, Heil. Anyway, I appreciate you sending me that. That's awesome. That'll come in handy. Sure will. Next was the stuff in this box right here. It is from Mr. Stephen Maneri from Chatham, Illinois. Is that how you say that? He had 3 cans of Deep Woods Off. That'll be handy if I do Will It Runs. Keep the ticks and mosquitoes and everything off of me. And some lidocaine patches. Thankfully, I don't need these because my knee, I'm telling you, it's pretty doggone good now. He left me a little note here too. I appreciate that. Let me move on to the next one. Next is this right here. This is from Kelly. I do not know where you're from because it was sent straight from Amazon. But it is pipe expanders. This could come in handy doing exhaust work. Yep, it sure could. Wonder how big a tubing it'll do. Let me Let me see if it tells. It may show it on here. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. It'll do up to 3.5 inch with this big one. Yep, that'll come in handy doing exhaust work. Appreciate that a bunch. Next, I got a welding blanket, and that is from Douglas Moore. I don't know where you're from, but I do appreciate that. If I ever have to do some welding, well, what was I welding? Something on the steering column, and I had to put cardboard up to keep from burning up the seats. Stuff like that, that'll come in handy. Appreciate that a bunch. This is from Jim and Barbara Dye from Milton, Florida. I got me a note that has gotten stuck to the tape. All right, what do we have in here? A couple of knee pads. I already got one great big one and a small one. We'll put these up for when they tear up. We'll pull these out, start using them. And a set of knee pads. That's some heavy duty ones right there. Yeah, that'll come in handy. Appreciate that. Who's it from? Jim and Barbara Dye. Appreciate that. Last but not least, this big old box right here. It is from, let me see, Robbie and Dawn Richardson from Fluvanna, Virginia. Is that how you say it? Let me show y'all this. It's busted. I didn't do that. It happened in shipping. I really hate that. But we're still going to hang it up right there. Yep. Got the John Deere shop manual for, what is this for? Model 720 diesel, 730 diesel, 88, 28, 30. It covers several. Got a small block Chevy lay water pump. It's a long water pump. That'll come in handy. That's brand spankily new, it looks like. Got a couple of old license plates. I said I was going to put my old license plates maybe right up there. I got to get on that sometime. Got a fuel pump. No, yeah. Mechanical fuel pump. Yep. We'll put that on something sometime. What is this? O2 sensor. Don't know what that fits. I'll have to look it up. Got 3 packs of spark plugs. 1 is Champion and 2 is Motorcraft. Then I got, what is this right here? Offset head dowels, okay. Got another box right here. Let me show y'all this. This is pretty nice. Well, there's some more sparking plugs. Mechanic in the bottle. Gasoline quality test. Y'all look at here. It ain't brand new, it's a reman, but it's a Quadrajet. Sure is. In the plastic. Ain't never been used since it was rebuilt. I can tell it goes for an Oldsmobile or a Pontiac because the inlet's in the front. If it was Chevrolet, it'd be inside here. But hey, it'll work. I got that type on something. It may be lockjaw. Anyway, that's awesome. I can always use a new carburetor. Appreciate all of this. If y'all want to send me something, my P.O. Box address is right down here in the description. Appreciate it, y'all. Till the next day again. It's actually, I don't know, 3 days later. Been a little busy on other things. Had to spend Saturday working on the Fiery Dragon, getting it running again. Yesterday was Sunday. Sunday's a day of rest, and that's what I do on Sundays. But we're back on the old Forte today. Probably going to be a short video this week because I've had so much other things that I had to do. That's just how it goes sometimes, fellas. When you're a one-man show, you got to do it all. Anyway, what I want to do today, partly anyway, let's get the gas tank done. I got my filler neck grommet in the mail. There it is. Takes a 2 3/8 inch hole. Well, look here. Just got back from Lowe's. I bought a 2 3/8 inch hole saw. You might be wondering, why didn't you just use your plasma cutter? 1, I don't want to burn the paint off. 2, have y'all seen me cut circles? They ain't pretty. No, sir, they sure ain't. let's get over there and get that hole cut out. Then I'll go to working on the filler neck. We probably won't have it ready to use, but I want the gas tank done before the end of this video. We'll get that done and we'll work on some other stuff. I tell you what, man, a whole lot of room right here. Let me get this tank out of the way. Yep. I think I'm just gonna hit the center of this patch. That's the only thing I know to do. Lots of filler. All right, got that done. Well, here's the deal. What I got ain't gonna work. No, sir. There's my grommet. There's my filler neck. And I was gonna use this. I was gonna weld this on here, butt weld it. And because this neck's down to 2 inches, I got 2-inch hose to go from that to the tank. Well, the idea of this is 2 1/8. The OD of this is 2 1/4. I figured you'd want to press fit, if you will, you know, for a watertight seal. Well, when I get this in the car, this one won't go in here anymore. So I've got to use this. So I've got to find a grommet with a bigger ID. So we ain't gonna get done with the tank this week. Nope, sure ain't. What are we gonna move on to? I need to make some fender braces for the rear. I can't find any to buy online, so we're gonna make them. What else? I don't know. I don't guess I told y'all. You know how my power steering shaft on the rack and pinion was leaking? The shaft itself. Sent an email to a company that works on rebuilds rack and pinion, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. I'm just wondering though, if the original car, the original steering coupler, whatever, is sealed up, maybe it needs fluid to lubricate. I don't know. That don't make any sense to me. As soon as they answer me back, we will proceed to fix it. I'm gonna say I'm gonna end up welding the end of that shaft. Yep, that's most likely what's gonna happen. Let me get busy making us some rear fender braces real quick. The fender brace is gonna go about right here. Well, the hole that's there, it's sort of been ripped out. So we'll scoot her back just a little bit. It'll go from there to the frame. This side needs to be 11.5 inches. This one over here, 10.5. It might explain why that tire sticks out a little bit. Something going on with this fender over here. We're gonna custom make them though. They'll fit each side their own way. I was gonna use 3/8 because that's what the front ones are made out of, but I ain't got no 3/8. I got 1/2 inch right here. We're gonna cut us a couple pieces, heat the end up, mash it flat with a hammer, drill holes, gotta put a little crook on either end. Then we'll put them on the car. I think I need to set my torch up right here. That way I ain't got to keep cutting it on and off. So let me do that. Very gently. I gotta let that oven cool off, and then I'll finish it. Now what I got to do is put a little bend, not much, not even a 45 probably, right here somewhere. I'm gonna attempt to do it just like this right here. Still that hot. Oh, God. Woohoo! We'll try that, see what it does. I got them done, they're cooled off. I got them bent properly. This one, well, she got a little bit crooked. That there might be a little crooked too, but they'll do just fine and dandling. Let me punch mark them, drill some holes in them, we'll put them on the car. Y'all see all these holes that I put in my table here on my drill press? Watch this. I didn't know it could do this. I could have turned and drilled in them slots and I wouldn't put these holes in there. Oh well, you live and learn. The holes that were here, the inside edge of them got ripped off. So I got to try to drill a new hole, approximately right in this area here. Yeah, it feels rotten. All right, let me see if that'll work right there. You get in there. You get in there. I need another bolt. Let me get around this way. I'll drop my bolt. That's gonna look like it came from the factory. Sure enough. Remember how I had to change that brake hose over there on the back? Well, she's leaking just a wee bit. I got to look at that. Oh, you remember we had trouble out of that for some reason. I do not know why, but we did. Alright. I gotta get the wrench on that one. Alright. Now, won't be no flippity flappity flopping on that one. Let me get over and do that one. There's my brace right there. Looks like it came from the factory. Oh yeah. Now, let's fix this brake leak. See that little drip right there? Well, it ain't hitting the floor. So it ain't leaking much. I wiped this off the other day and got another drip. So I do know it's leaking. I think it's this one. I think what I'm gonna do is get my flaring tool. I'm gonna take both of these lines loose. I'm gonna squeeze the devil out of it with that flaring tool and just see if that helps. I don't know if it will or not, but we gotta fix this because this is getting on my nerves. I reflared the line on the right, tightened it up just as tight as I could without breaking something. Went up there and stomped on the pedal several times. I don't see no leaks right now. We'll check it in a few days and see if we got any drips on it. I got to thinking, I don't need that grommet to finish that gas tank. All I got to do is weld me a pipe in this corner edge right there, and I'll be done with the tank other than making some straps and bolting it down. So I think we shall proceed to continue working on it. Here's what I want to do. Firstly, I don't need all this length right here. So I'm going to cut this one off at least half. I'm going to cut that one off at least half. Then weld them together. Then I can stick that through the side of the car and give me an idea of what kind of angle I need to put that neck coming out of the gas tank. So let me get these cut and welded up real quick. Got the filler neck welded up. It's over in the side of the car. Got the tank out. I've got my angle of this piece here. It's going to go in the corner, just like that right there. I got my, where's the fly? Look at the fly. Get out of here. It's probably the one that bothered me the other day. Anyway, through the power of geometry, my least favorite thing to do, I think I got my marks on how I need to cut this so I can put it in here and get my marks here to cut this hole out. So let me cut this out firstly, and then hopefully it's going to fit pretty decent right here. Also, no, by the way, this piece of pipe right here used to be on dude. It was his old exhaust. Remember, we got new exhaust put on him last year? Well, I told him, said when you cut the old off, throw it in the bed. You don't throw stuff away. Well, I finally got it on the second attempt. I told y'all, me and geometry, we do not get along. Anyway, it's gonna go right there. I'm gonna use this, to trace around so I'll know where to cut my hole. Once I get the hole cut, we'll stick that right there and weld it up. I don't really want to use the plasma cutter. I ain't got a whole lot of choice. How does that fit? I can weld it up, it'll be all right. It put a little bit of coating on it. Let me see if I can't vacuum some of that slag out. Well, that's going to have to do because it's about all I can do. It left a coating on it, but I can't get it off. Let's weld this on. Well, it's in. I got the hose on, but see how my gas cap's angled? I don't want that. I want it straight. And, well, the only way to get it straight, I'm going to have to take it back off and make me a pie cut on that right there. Let's see what we can do with it. Through the power of geometry, once again, I think I got my angle. We're going to find out here in a minute, though. Well, I think I've messed up. I'm telling you, I'm in geometry. I can't do it. I think I need to make a meet over here. I don't know. We'll try something. All right, so let's see if I can make that bend. No, that's terrible. Let me work on that a little more. Goodness gracious, that's terrible looking. I believe I messed this piece up. Let me go see what it looks like. Goodness gracious alive. I think I can make it work, so let me see if I can get it welded up real quick. Got it welded up and ground down somewhat smoothly. Dummy me though. I should have put my pie cut way on back here. That would give more area for my hose to be clamped to, because Right now, it's only going to be clamped from here out. It'll probably be all right. Let's go put it on the car, see what it looks like. The Artiz, it don't look too bad. I think it'll be all right. Once I get my grommet out here, we'll look much better. This is angled just a little bit, but I don't mind that. Now what we got to do, I got to have somebody to hold it down, so we got to make us some straps real quick. Let's get some metal over there on the weld table. Go to cutting on it. I can't find any universal tank straps, so I got to make my own. I'm going to make them 1.5 inches wide and 34 inches long. We might have to cut a little bit off of it. Now I got to put them in my brake press right here and put some bends on them. I'm going to do the first one at 2 inches. Now I got to put this in the car and mark where my tank's going to hit it. I'll be right back. There is my mark. That's the top of the tank. Well, you know, you want a little tension on it, so I'm going to, I don't know, 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch shorter. Right there. Let's go 1/2 inch. It'll be all right. Now let me go mark it again. Got my mark made. Let's bend this one right here. Let me go make my last mark. I want a bend at 4 inches. Right there. All right. Let's see how that fits all together. That almost looks like I know what I'm doing. It sure does. Got a little air gap right here, so when you tighten that bolt up, it'll squish on the tank air and hold it down. Same thing back yonder. Got to make the other one. I got to drill holes in these flat spots here. And you remember how the floorboard is pretty rotten and very thin. We had to put plates on the bottom of each one of the seat bolts. I'll have to do the same thing here. I don't want it to come flying out and kill me if I have to stop real quick. Got my holes drilled in my straps. I'm fixing to cut this in 1/4. That'll be our plates for underneath. Let's get us some holes drilled in the middle of these plates right here. Alright, let's get us some holes drilled right here. Get some bolts. I must go below. Now I got to drill the back tube. Let's go below once more. It's pretty secure. I want to be able to tighten them straps a little bit more. The floorboard is giving, you know, when I tighten up on the bolt, it's wanting to come up. And I got it sitting on a 2x4 and a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. Well, that's, you know, that's caving in the bottom. So what I might do is get a 2x4 just a wee bit longer than the width. That way it won't be squished in the middle. And I might go with like a 1 inch plywood instead of 3/4, just to give me a little more height so I can get a little more bite on the clamps. But I think it'll be just fine with a little bit of tweaking. Now I got to pull it back out and paint it. Y'all know what we forgot to do last week, don't you? We didn't mark nothing off. So let's get over here to the board and mark some stuff off real quick. What did we get fixed? I marked this one off because I wrote it down because I was going to buy one. Well, then I added, where did I put it? Up here, build gas tank. So we'll get to that in a second. We modified our carburetor devices. What else did we do? Got the cooling system done. Got the gauges in. The little plastic line for the oil pressure gauge. I don't like those little plastic lines. Well, when you have to use a ferrule on a plastic line, it don't do right half the time. It'll cock over sideways and it's leaking. So we got to change that out and put the copper line. I think I got some copper line hanging on the wall over there. We'll fix that. What else did we do? Built the gas tank. We got a rear fender braces done. That's it. We didn't get a whole lot done. No. I guess we'll just keep on plugging though. Well, I reckon I'll call it a week on this video. Didn't get a whole lot done this week, but sometimes life happens and you got to do this stuff before you can do that stuff. That's just the way it goes. Got to get this tank painted next week. Well, it's a lot of little stuff, but next week I'm probably going to do the wiring. I ain't looking forward to it. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.